Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Mid-Level Media Channel. This is your hub for everything physical media and entertainment. And guys, look, you know, if you're a fan of the channel, if you've been watching the channel for any length of time, you know I'm a pretty big Western fan. Okay, so I came across this article, and I don't do a ton of videos like this usually, where I just kind of go over articles and lists on other websites. But I'm doing it today. And today we are talking about this list on Collider. Let me bring this up. Where they're talking about 10 great Western movies that need to be, or is it deserved? Yeah, I think it's 10 great Western movies that deserve to be in the Criterion collection ranked. So they are ranking them. Not only are they listing 10 great movies that need to be in the Criterion collection, they are ranking them as well. Let me put myself down here, guys. So I thought that was interesting. I wanted to hear them out and see what films that they would talk about, what films they would say need to be in the Criterion collection. Interesting thing, the cool thing is that I've actually seen every movie on this list, so I can actually commentate on every movie that's on this list. And look, Criterion's done some great westerns recently in the collection. You got Pat Garrett and Billy the Kid that came out last year on 4K, a beautiful 4 disc set that was a great 4K. And then you've got recently Winchester 73 with James Stewart, which I love that movie. So Criterion, and they've done Destry Rides Again and Stagecoach and all kinds of classic westerns. So they've definitely proven themselves in the western genre. But again, with this list is interesting for a variety of reasons. For both the titles that they suggested, not that they're not great movies, great titles, but just the fact that it feels like, and I didn't read over the article in its entirety yet, so maybe they do reference some of the other labels, but it feels like by making a list like this, like they're completely oblivious to any other boutique label that's out there and any other edition that's ever come out. Because a lot of these that they put need to have Criterion releases. Some of these have fantastic editions already from other boutique labels. A lot of these actually already have 4Ks from studios as well. And I just found it kind of interesting. But they've got 4Ks from studios. They don't have a ton in terms of like special features and all that extra content stuff that they could add to a Criterion. So I'm not saying that I'm not all for it just because it's already got a 4K. And I'm assuming that, if they're going to put these in the Criterion collection, they would do them on 4K. But anyway, guys, I just thought this was an interesting list. They made another one that was very similar. It was talking about sci-fi films that need to come to the Criterion collection. I didn't want to do a video on that just because I think I maybe had seen like 3 films on that list. But they also did the same thing on that list because they said that Dark City needs to be in the Criterion collection, and Dark City just got the definitive edition. Like there will be no other edition that is better than what Arrow Video just put out for Dark City. So that's where it's like, is Collider just like oblivious to all the other labels? I do feel like though, and this may be worth like just doing a separate video and conversation on. I feel like Criterion is that label that is really just crossed into the mainstream in a way that the other labels have not. Like everybody knows Arrow Video and Screen Factory. And I mean, their stuff is in Best Buy. I mean, it was in Walmart. I mean, Screen Factory titles used to be in Walmart. So I'm not saying that they're not mainstream, but I feel like Criterion has like has the cultural has just like gotten the cultural has just gotten into the cultural zeitgeist. Like they are a very trendy label, especially when it comes to like, social media and the Criterion Closet videos and just being that mainstream like label that everybody knows about. Like in Hollywood and people that like movies, like they know about the Criterion collection. Like they're kind of people talk about them like they're the standard when it comes to putting out like nice editions of playing new features and things like that. Like I've seen several videos from people where it's like Criterion is all they talk about and they act like that's the best. They're the best things, best label since sliced bread. Whereas like I can point to multiple other labels that do way better editions than Criterion, especially recently with the Criterion collection. Feels like a lot of the releases recently have been a little lazy when it comes to special features. But again, I don't buy everything. Maybe there's some great additions that come chock full of special features, and I'm just not getting them. Anyway, I do like Criterion. I'm not trying to be a Criterion hater by any means, but let's get into this list because I'm interested to go over it with you guys. So let me start with it. Oh, guys, look, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I would appreciate that. Also, like the video, comment down below. What are some other Westerns? I've got some other titles I can recommend in this video as well, but what are some Westerns that you would like to see come out through the Criterion Collection? There is one they call out here that certainly needs to happen, and it needs to get an edition like Pat Garrett and Billy the Kid. Like that's what it needs. But we'll get to that. Let me start this article, guys. I know you guys are getting antsy out there. The Criterion Collection has long been a sanctuary for films that combine technical mastery with thematic depth, westerns with their sweeping vistas, moral ambiguities, and myth-making power have always been a cornerstone of American film history. Yet some of the genre's greatest achievements remain outside the Criterion vaults. See, it's like they act like Criterion is the only label that can do these films justice. Like that's where I kind of push back. It's like I get it, Criterion's the most mainstream, but what made them like the gods of physical media boutique labels? Like, why do they get that honor? Is it just because they've been doing it the longest? I think that's probably why. But also like there are other labels that have just vastly surpassed them in recent years when it comes to special features. And, one of the big ones is Arrow Video. But also, look, I'll give Kino credit as well. Kino's been doing some great editions, some great 4K editions. They've really become the home for Westerns, I feel like, but they just don't do a ton in terms of special features. Anyway, let's get into this. First one, I can totally get on board for this. Number 10 is Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. And Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, it's not one of my favorite westerns. I do think it's very fun. It is very enjoyable, but it wouldn't rank in my top 20 probably westerns of all time. But it definitely needs some kind of prestigious edition, and it has nothing. It's just got a regular Blu-ray as of right now. So Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid going to the Criterion Collection would be fantastic. Now, it does say this image is from 20th Century Studios, so I guess it's a Fox title, which explains why it's not out on 4K yet. But Fox and Disney has done business with Criterion, so I think if any label could get them to put this out, it would be the Criterion Collection. So I do think Butch Cassidy and Sundance Kid would be pretty perfect for the Criterion Collection. So, I mean, it goes on in the article to talk about the visuals of the film and how it would look and all that stuff. So, and again, I'm assuming that they mean that these would get 4K editions. I'm assuming. Number 9 is The Magnificent Seven. And this another film that I like, but I wouldn't put this in my top 25, 20 Westerns of all time, but I do like the film. And I definitely understand the historical significance of it. But the problem here is Shout Factory already did an edition of this. So there's already a 4K of The Magnificent Seven. And it's a good edition from what I remember. I don't remember it having a ton of special features, so maybe Criterion could add some stuff there. But The Magnificent Seven does have a really solid edition currently from Shout Select. And I'm trying to read and see if they mention that. Like, again, they act like the other labels don't exist or that there's not already really good editions of these movies. They're just like, Criterion's it. Like, that's all that exists. That's all that's out there. We want them to do it. Yeah, just talking about the movie for a little bit. And let's get into number 8. Number 8 is Shane from 1953. So I freaking love Shane. Kino Lorber just did a really solid 4K of it. I thought the 4K looked really good. Not a standout 4K. Part of me like wouldn't mind this. Like I would not mind Criterion getting a hold of Shane and maybe giving us maybe a little bit more. Not that the Kino wasn't a solid 4K, but maybe a little bit more solid 4K, and then adding some special features, some new commentaries, because there has to be some people that would like to come back and talk about Shane. From what I remember, I think the Kino version had maybe 1 or 2 new audio commentaries, no new special features at all. And I don't even think it had a ton of archival stuff as well either. And I think this is the kind of movie that just with its historical significance, it is pretty acclaimed and held up as one of the best Westerns of all time. I do think it deserves some retrospective stuff people talking about the film, some conversations about the film, like, would be appreciated as well. Criterion has done some really good conversations recently on their releases. I don't want, again, I'm not trying to paint Criterion like they're all bad or anything. They've done some good stuff. I love the Scarface um conversation with Bill Hader and yeah, a film commentator. It was a really good special feature on that release. And they've done some other good stuff recently as well. So I would like to see that kind of treatment done for Shane as well. Not that Kino didn't do a good job on the 4K, but I think that there's some stuff that they could add to that for sure. So I would be on board for Shane. Next up, we've got this one. It's in contention. It's in very heavy contention for my favorite Western ever. And that is The Man Who Shot Liberty Valance. It's either number one or it's number two. And I think the other one that it's in contention with is on this list. But The Man Who Shot Liberty Valance, I love this movie so freaking much. You got the powerhouse that is John Wayne with just one of the greatest actors of all time and James Stewart. And it's one of John Ford's, I think, last movies. He was kind of, he was kind of riding off into the sunset a little bit himself as a director at this point. And it's probably maybe his last like great film. Maybe he did some great ones after this, but I just freaking love The Man Who Shot Liberty Valance. I think it's just one of the best of all time, one of the best movies of all time, one of the best stories of all time, with some of the best performances of all time, some of the best like heart and emotion of any Western. And look, Paramount did this. They did a Paramount Presents 4K of it. I think they re-released it as a regular 4K, but that release was pretty controversial. A lot of people were not happy with the quality of that 4K. Me personally, I think I reviewed it on this channel. I didn't think the 4K was horrendous or anything. It was very watchable. It was good quality. I do think it was better quality than the Blu-ray, but I was not super impressed with it like I have been other black and white films in 4K. I do feel like Winchester 73 was maybe a little bit better as far as the 4K quality. But, it was a great addition. It was a solid addition. I think there was a couple of new features on that as well. But this is another one that I would not mind. Look, this is one of my favorite movies of all time. So it would give me an excuse to buy another version of the movie. And if they could add some new features, if they could make the picture quality look just a little bit better, fix some things with it that, Paramount's wasn't interested in doing at the time, I think you can make a really quality addition from the Criterion Collection. And at the end of the day, I think that more people need to have access to this movie and to talk about this movie. So I would like this to get a Criterion Collection just so more people would see it and talk about it. It would show up in Barnes and Noble. People could grab it there. And you know how it is with the Criterion Collection. It's like the movie doesn't exist until it gets a Criterion release with some of these people. So I would be all for it, I guess, add a couple of new features, and I would definitely buy it as well. So yeah, definitely love this movie. And next up, this is the one, guys, number 6, maybe the most important, necessary one on this list, and that is the Wild Bunch. Like, where the hell is the Wild Bunch on 4K? Warner Brothers has this title. Why have they not put out the Wild Bunch on 4K? I don't understand it. This movie would be gorgeous in 4K. It's such a gnarly, just gritty Western movie. Like, there's really nothing like it. Like, the violence, how they showcase violence in this film was so ahead of its time. And it's incredibly visceral and just in your face. It's got so many great, colorful characters as well. And I would love this movie to get some kind of prestigious treatment because Sam Peckinpah also directed Pat Garrett and Billy the Kid. He directed this film. And I feel like you could do another like really great digipack edition with this, really do it up nice. And honestly, like I feel like Criterion knows this, and I feel like they are working on the Wild Bunch. I feel like we'll see the Wild Bunch maybe next year come to 4K. I mean, that would be, what anniversary would that be? That would be it would be a 7 anniversary. Was that the 67th anniversary? 57th anniversary. If it came out next year. So nothing significant, but I do think this movie needs to come out. Yeah, it says right here, the film's ballistic, is that supposed to say ballistic violence shocked audience? shock audiences. But yeah, this movie's great. It has long been overdue for a 4K release, and I would be all for this one for sure. Like this one, honestly, like number one on this list is kind of ridiculous when you really think about it. This should be number one on this list, like without a doubt. But the Wild Bunch is great, and it does need a Criterion 4K. Next up, number 5 is High Noon. High Noon's a great movie. I really enjoy this one a lot. I watched this one for the first time actually this year, or maybe it was last year. I think maybe it was a year ago I watched it. But it is a great film. From 1952. It's a black and white film. It does have a 4K. Kino Lorber did a 4K. They did a good job on it too. I thought it was a good 4K. But again, it was kind of bare bones, didn't really have a ton in terms of special features. I think that Criterion could do something pretty special with this film, give it some new features, really do it up nice. And yeah, I would be all for a High Noon Criterion release. Oh, next up, guys, I did not remember they put this one on the list, but Once Upon a Time in the West from 1968. This is another one I'm all for. I am all for it, even though I will say I would much rather and not no, Kino didn't do this. Paramount did this themselves. Did a Paramount Presents title. They did a re-release of it as well, just like The Man Who Shot at Liberty Valance. But just like The Man Who Shot at Liberty Valance, this is another pretty controversial 4K from Paramount. Not a lot of people were super happy about it. They think it looked a little DNR'd, a little bit too glossy in some parts. I tended to agree, somewhat. I think it could have looked better. I didn't hate the 4K. I didn't think it was awful. I think it was approved by Martin Scorsese. But I think it could have looked better. I'm sorry. I hate to go against Martin Scorsese, but it just wasn't as good looking as I imagined that it would look. It's not like the Dollars trilogy that just came out on 4K from Arrow Video. Speaking of Arrow Video, that is who I would want to do this. I want a nice Arrow Video, chunky as all hell box set of Once Upon a Time in the West. To match the Dollars trilogy, all Sergio Leone films, it would be fantastic. So yes, Criterion, fine. If Criterion gets it, that's fine. Do some new features, whatever. Make a better transfer, whatever. But I want Arrow Video to do this. I want a nice booklet of it because this movie, this might be a top 5 Western for me. I freaking love this movie. So I would 100%, be on board for a Criterion, but also I need Arrow Video to do this like yesterday. I don't care if it's a UK edition. Just freaking do it. All right. Okay. Number 3, guys, Unforgiven. I This one got a release from Warner Brothers, and it's a really great 4K. It really is an outstanding 4K. So the only way I would want to get this again, from the Criterion Collection, is that they added a substantial amount of new special features. And Unforgiven is the one for me that's in heavy contention with Man Who Shot Liberty Balance as my favorite Western. So I love this movie. I really love this movie a lot. Just Clint Eastwood, I think, at his best. I think this is Clint at his peak of his acting capabilities. I think he's so freaking good in this movie. Everybody's so good in this movie. Gene Hackman, hell of a villain. Oh my God, such a good villain. Morgan Freeman, fantastic as well, but he's great in everything. Anyway, Unforgiven. So I don't know. I don't think I need this in the Criterion Collection. Again, unless you're going to add a bunch of new features, for me, it just doesn't fit. I guess I don't know. There's something about Unforgiven that doesn't fit. I don't know where it fits. I think just coming out from Warner Bros. Is just fine. Maybe like what I would like is if Warner Bros. Did like a UK Steelbook box set or something. Like I would probably get that for this movie, but I don't know if it needs a Criterion or not. Again, I would always take an Arrow Video edition, but if you're going to add a bunch of new features or something, maybe Criterion. But I don't know. I think the Warner Bros. 4K is great. So yeah, I don't know about this one being in the Criterion Collection. I do love the movie though. And next up, guys, The Searchers from 1956. This again, same with Unforgiven. Unless you're going to add a ton of brand new supplemental material, special features, like this has the most definitive version that you're ever going to get. Warner Archive did this right. Okay, this is one of the most stunning 4Ks I've ever seen. So this has a great 4K from Warner Archive. Again, like if somebody's just reading this list and they're like, oh yeah, these movies need great 4K editions, and they don't know about these other labels because they're not mentioning these other labels or studios or the fact that these already have really good editions out there, you know, um, then I just want to let you know they got great editions. They're out there. The Searchers has a fantastic 4K from Warner Archive. It's so great. And it's got special features, a lot of archival stuff, but it's got special features. Again, they could add a couple new things and maybe I would get it. Maybe that would entice me a little bit. But this is one again, like Unforgiven, Warner Bros. Did a great job. I don't know if I need these movies out on 4K. And the last one, guys, number one is the most ridiculous. It is the most ridiculous of this entire list because we just got such a standout release from Arrow Video. The good, the bad, and the ugly. How could you even possibly get any better than what Arrow Video just did? They gave us all the cuts of the film on 4K. They gave us the new documentary, and I'm blanking on what that was called, but there's a new documentary on that. They also gave us like 12 new special features, something like that. Audio commentaries, 2 new audio commentaries, past audio commentaries. Like that is the definitive release, what Arrow Video just did. And but it was in the UK. Maybe they would do this in the US, but Kino also did the good, the bad, the ugly on 4K in the US. But again, we've got the standout definitive version of the good, the bad, the ugly. You don't need anything else. This does not need a Criterion. Okay. You got the best release of this that you're ever going to get. And for people that are like, well, it's sold out, Ken, there's a standard version coming. Arrow Video is putting out a standard slipcover version that you can get. And it's the same edition with all the same features and stuff. So pick that up if you want it. So yeah, this is the most ridiculous on this list. And I'm reading through this right now, guys. Nothing about the Arrow Video edition that I'm seeing. Absolutely nothing. So yeah, guys, I don't need the good, the bad, the ugly, the Searchers, Unforgiven. I'd take Once Upon a Time in the West. I'd take High Noon. I'd take Wild Bunch for sure. I'd take The Man Who Shot Liberty Valance. I'd take Shane. I'd take Magnificent. Oh, no, Magnificent Seven. No, it doesn't need it. And I would take Butch Cassidy. So I would take 6 out of 10 of these. I would take 6 out of 10, but I think the other 4 aren't necessary. I think they already have great additions. But what do you guys think about this? What do you guys think about this type of video? Just me reacting to certain articles and lists. I see these articles all the time. Every single time I pull up Google, somebody's doing some kind of article about movies or physical media, sometimes both. And I think they're interesting and I like to comment on them. So that's kind of why I did this today. But let me know what you think of it in the comment section below. Also, let me know a big one that I think Criterion could do and people would love it if they did it is why am I blanking on this name? The Kevin Costner, Robert Duvall movie. God, why am I Open Range? Jesus Christ. Open Range would be a great 4K. Also, How the West Was Won. That doesn't have a good edition either. That could be a great 4K from the Criterion collection. So those are 2 that I could see Criterion tackling. But let me know some of your picks in the comment section below. They could also upgrade Stagecoach. I would take a 4K of that as well. But guys, like, comment, subscribe. I'll link this article down below if you guys want to read it more in depth, even though we just went over it. But I'll link it down below. Yeah, like, subscribe, turn on bell notifications for all future videos, and we'll see you next time.